Today, by the way, if you are just joining me or new to my page, I am Diane Flores from livingthegoddesslife.com. I am a lifestyle coach. I'm a bikini and figure competitor coach. I am a holistic health coach through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I am a mom. I am obsessed with teaching women how to live a goddess lifestyle free from diet rules and diet hell, and just kicking ass in life. So if you are new to my page, thank you for joining. I did get a bunch of followers, so I enjoy taking you on this journey with all of us goddesses. So diving in today, I have one of my coaching groups, one of my private Facebook coaching groups. One of the gals is a vegetarian, and so her question was she's feeling a little lost and needed some help in some protein options for vegetarians. So I'm going to give you some good ideas for that, and also some things to think about with pairing your vegetarian foods together that will give you an abundant source of great protein. So if you are a vegetarian that is okay with consuming like eggs and dairy and things like that, so that is going to be definitely one of the biggest sources of protein is going to be egg whites. You can certainly do eggs. Whole eggs are great too. You get the fats from the egg yolk, which is not terrible. So I know a lot of people are super concerned with that. Good sources of cholesterol there. So you have egg whites, eggs. Greek yogurt is another one that's very high in protein. Cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is another one. Sometimes that's a consistency issue. Some people aren't really big on cottage cheese. You can do savory or sweet, so you can add some stuff to that to make it a little more palatable if cottage cheese isn't your thing. Vegetarian meats, I know that was a question she had. Vegetarian meat, faux meats are okay. I would say, like anything in moderation, sometimes they're a little bit higher in sodium, and sometimes they're, a little bit processed. It depends on the brand that you're getting. So take a look at that, see how much protein's in there, kind of eyeball what the other ingredients are in there. So vegetarian meats aren't the worst thing, so you can certainly add those in as well. Now, some other foods that maybe you would be shocked to know have protein are things like spinach, broccoli, green beans, asparagus. There's also, and those are on the veggie end of things, there's also protein in like black beans, tempeh. You've got the complex carbohydrates that have protein, which are going to be things like quinoa, lentils, oatmeal even has some protein in there. So as long as you're getting a robust amount of nutrients or a robust amount of foods in your nutrition, you're good. So if you're eating, some of those protein sources that I talked about, and then add in those super high rich protein sources of veggies, and then protein sources of complex carbohydrates. I'm getting a little tongue-tied because I'm excited. You're going to be well set on your way to get in a plenty of protein. So a lot of girls question and they ask, well, how much protein should I be getting? When you're first starting to eat healthy and really trying to get back into like fueling your body for your activities and your exercise, I really want you to focus on the big things. So getting in lots of greens, lean sources of protein, healthy fats. But if you're really wanting to stay on track with counting protein, the old school bodybuilding theory of like 1 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight is sort of like out the window. Lots of studies have been coming out saying that that's, it's sort of a waste, so to speak. Your body can only utilize so much that, an overconsumption of protein isn't going to do you any better. It's not necessarily going to do you any harm, but it's really, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to give you a leg up in building muscle or, keeping lean muscle. What they're finding is that 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight is a good kind of like average number to want to fall into. And I usually just kind of blanket it at about 100 grams a day for myself personally. And that seems to be a really good number. And I'm settled okay with that. I love the results with that. So if you really want to, you can do the math, figure it out, just multiply your body weight times 0.7 or 0.8. 0.8 is probably going to be a little bit higher if you're doing a lot more resistance training. You might want to go to the 0.8 level, but anything above that is really kind of their studies are showing not really so important anymore. So that is my my info for you on the protein, the vegetarian sources of protein, and how many protein grams you should be aiming for if you're really looking to keep lean, sexy muscle and continue building sexy muscle and staying lean. Next, one of my clients, Regina, had a question. She is in the operating room for 5 to 6 hour stretches at a time, wondering how she can go about, eating and making sure that she's not ravenous when she comes out of that. I think a lot of times we are still stuck in the mindset that we have to eat every 3 to 4 hours, which, some people that works, some people it doesn't. For me, I'm finding now more and more that that's not the case for me. So for those of you that know you're going to be in long stretches of time without any food, probably the easiest thing for you to do is, if before you go into that long stretch of time, is make sure that you do fill up on lean sources of protein beforehand, 30 minutes to maybe 45 minutes before, because you want to give yourself a little bit of time to digest before you go into whatever that activity is. But lean sources of protein, a little bit of complex carbohydrates and veggies. So have a nice full meal. I would say somewhere between 500 to 600 calories. You could probably even go a little bit more, because you're going to be in sort of like a time span where you're not going to have any food, and then you're going to probably want to eat right after. And that amount of fuel will sustain you. It'll keep you going for that 5 to 6 hour stretch. You won't feel famished by the time you're done. So if you go in and you just have like a light breakfast, going to be ravenous during that 5 to 6 hours, and then come out and want to eat your face off, right? So eat a good healthy amount of protein, carbs and veggies, and have that before, or have yourself like a really nice loaded smoothie that'll keep you sustained too, and lots of energy. So hopefully that helps with what you need to do before you go in long stretches of time without food. So the other question, and then on that too, is I have on my notes is, having something prepared right afterwards is also a great idea. So that way it takes the edge off a little bit before you reach a real like abundant meal. So maybe that's dinner or like your lunch or whatever. So having something healthy to snack on right when you get out of surgery, or right when you get out of a long, flight, business trip, business meeting, whatever it is things like protein bars, just having that ready to go, an apple and some almonds, and like I said, like a quick protein shake just to take the edge off, kind of satiate you just a little bit until you get to your meal. So that is a tip on that. Now, she also had another question is, how do I add supplements into my diet? She had fears of like having any sort of like allergic reactions, or, taking too many at once and not sure what's going on there. And I think the good general rule of thumb is, if you're not used to taking supplements or vitamins or herbs or anything like that, is to start with one at a time. And I will tell you that this is a great way to do it, because I have had a severe allergic reaction to a pre-workout probably about 10 years ago. I will never forget. This stuff is called Nano Vapor, and I don't even know if they make it anymore. I'm going to look to see, because it damn near killed me. And I, had I taken other stuff with it, like taken a pill pre-workout and maybe, a bunch of other supplements, and then taken this pre-workout drink, I would not have known what almost killed me. My throat was swollen. I could not breathe. I had to lay down on the couch. I mean, I was gasping for air. That is probably one of the closest times I've ever felt close to death, or one of the only times I felt super close to death was Nano Vapor. That shit needs to be banned. I'm just saying. So you want to know for food, you guys, like if you're trying a bunch of new healthy stuff and something gives you GI upset, you know, your stomach gets a little upset, you're not going to know if you're doing a ton of new stuff. So it just is a process of elimination in terms of like, take this out, see if that's what it is, you know, bring it back in, see if you still have the same issue, and just kind of play with it, you know. And you can't, unless it almost kills you, you need to give it a few tries to let your body kind of get used to it, especially if you feel like maybe you've been eating a diet high in processed foods and you start adding in vegetables, you know, might notice like you're a little bit gassy or bloated or whatever. Sometimes it's too much at once and you may need to back off and play around with it and see what it's causing the problem. The other thing with supplements is, the other thing I want to talk about that is if you're going to add a new supplement in, sometimes you won't notice if you're going to have an adverse reaction to it. Sometimes you won't notice it right away. And the reason for that is depending on what time of the day you take it, if you take it with food, if you take it without food, you're going to notice a difference depending on those two factors. So give yourself about 3 days adding in a new supplement, and that goes for protein shakes as well too, whether you're going to tolerate it, whether it's going to give you gas or make you bloated or constipated. Give yourself about 3 days of consistently trying that, maybe at different times, to see if your body is going to respond well to that before you decide whether or not the supplement's for you. The other thing with supplements is sometimes they take a while to work. So I know I just got a huge stash from Onnit. I'm obsessed with this company, you guys. Right now, I'm loving it. I learned about this company probably about 2 years ago when they first started coming out. And I'm kind of a little judgy when it comes to supplements. I don't like to just take anything or put anything in my body. I'm a huge believer in going as natural as possible, getting it from your foods as much as possible. That goes for like pre-workouts, fat burners, things for energy. The most that I really supplement with has been like protein shakes, protein bars, things like that. So, and then obviously like minerals and vitamins I will do. So I was a little skeptical. We learned about them at the Radiance Retreat. I had heard about them for a while. Great stuff backed by science. They use a lot of amazing ingredients, lots of superfoods. So I've been experimenting with a lot of Onnit's products. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I tried them back at the Radiance Retreat, it didn't really give them a full go. We've got some samples, and honestly, samples aren't really enough to give you the full gist of how amazing a product can be. You really sometimes need to go through half the bottle before you're like, okay, this is working. I'm starting to notice my body's catching up. My body's processing it differently. So I just got a huge lot of stuff. I love it, love it, love it. I can post the link. You guys can check it out if you've never heard of it. I would recommend, if you're going to get anything from a supplement company, if you're going to check out Onnit, just get one thing and let your body kind of experiment with that and see how it feels. I do the Alpha Brain. I have the vanilla acai protein powder, which is delicious. And you guys know I'm a protein snob and have been using UMP for probably 10, 11 years. But this is the only other protein. I tried Quest, was not feeling it. In fact, I still have the tub up in my cabinet because it just tastes really fake to me. And I would say the Onnit, the vanilla acai, the chocolate one's really good too, but the vanilla was my favorite. It just tastes healthy, but not in a gross healthy way. Does that make sense? Like, I could taste the chia seeds. I could taste the kind of like the pure quality of it. Just tastes amazing. It's not cheap, you guys, but my biggest thing is, I get a little fired up when I hear people complain about paying for, great supplements, not just buying some cheapy stuff from, Costco's not bad and they have a lot of great stuff, but just buying random stuff off the shelf because it's on sale, or, skimping on quality because of price. Do that with your laundry detergent. Do that with, your dish soap, your brand of sponges. Do that with that stuff. Skimp on price. Go for the cheap stuff when it comes to the non-significant stuff like that. When it comes to stuff you're putting in your body, that shit should be primo. Mwah! Primo, okay? Best ingredients, You know, there are certain things I will skimp on in terms of, you know, you can look at the list of important foods to buy organic and not some, you know, things like that. You can make little compromises and not having to buy everything organic. But when it comes to supplements, you know, anything that you're like lean sources of protein, I like to do organic and grass-fed as much as possible, because you don't know what your food is eating. So the chickens that I'm eating, the chicken breasts or the beef that I'm eating, what are they eating? Because ultimately, whatever they're eating, I'm eating too. So that should be important. And that's more important to me than buying, you know, I mean, Tide or Prada or Gucci or anything like that. This is where I'm going to be forever. So everything I put in it needs to be good shit, except for my nutritional sanity foods, which are in moderation. So that is I'm off my soapbox now. Okay, I'm stepping back down. Those are my key tips for your supplements. And like I said, I will post the link to On It. You can check them out. They have some great videos that you can do your research on. They have an abundance of stuff in there. If I was going to suggest anything for the newbie to try out from them, I believe it's the Primate Pack, and that is a great way to get started. In fact, I just ordered it right now because I was buying all of the other stuff separately. And the Primate, I think it's called Primate, of their most amazing vitamins, minerals, and supplements in the pack. You have a daytime pack and you have a nighttime pack. And that, to me, sandwiched together is like perfection. That's a great way to start if you want to just go full bore, balls to the wall, and grab something great from On It. The other great product they have is Alpha Brain. Came to mind right away because I've been using it. And I love that stuff, you guys. It's amazing for keeping you focused and sharp. I take it first thing in the morning, and my kids think I'm a maniac, like on the way to school, because I'm like full of energy. You know, coffee doesn't really do it for me anymore in terms of like making me super amped up. But I've noticed since I've been taking Alpha Brain, I'm just like in a great mood. I'm excited to get in and start working, and everything is just has a little more clarity around it. So I would say start with something like Alpha Brain. That's a good one, or the Primate Pack night, because it has everything I already take, but it's already packaged for you in a daytime and nighttime vitamins. But anyways, you guys can check it out. Like I said, you can post comments in here, questions, debates, discussions, whatever. I don't claim to know everything, but I know some things. So I would love to offer you any help that you need with any of these suggestions. So hope you like this video, and I will see you on the next one.